First of all, I also would like to say thank you so much for being here today and for listening, opening your hearts, and giving me a platform to share my story. 1 year ago, I was in a completely different situation that day, and to stand here today, I truly feel honored, humbled, and proud. So thank you all. My name is Tomer. I'm 25. I live in Tel Aviv. I just finished my first year in the university. I study accounting and business management. And on the night of October 7th last year, I went to the Nova Music Festival. It was actually my first kind of a music festival like that. We went, we danced. It was really fun. 6:30 in the morning, me and Yoav, my best friend, were resting at our tent, and alarm started. We heard the alarms and we said, okay, alarms, we are close to Gaza, we have nothing to look for here. Let's enter the car and drive back home. We entered the car, there is only one road out of the festival. You can either take the left to Tel Aviv or the right to continue south. At the beginning we took the left, but there was a big traffic jam starting to build up. And people started shouting, there are terrorists here, there are terrorists here. I heard that, I said, okay, terrorists, I don't want to be in a traffic jam. Let's just escape from this place. So I turned the car around and drove the right, towards the south, towards Gaza. After like 3.5 minutes of driving, a group of 4 terrorists ambushed us on the road. They saw us and they started shooting. I saw them and I made a U-turn with my car. Midway through the U-turn, I got hit with 3 bullets in my right arm. Yoav, my best friend, also got hit with 1 bullet here, 1 here, and 1 here. I got hit and I tried to complete the U-turn. My mind told my hand to move, but my hand just stopped functioning and didn't move anymore. Quickly, in an instinct, tens of seconds, I quickly reached for the wheel with my left arm, completed the U-turn, and I managed to escape from there. We drove for another minute and a half or something like that until my car stopped working. We left the car, they probably shot like 1,000 bullets on it or something like that. It was mostly bullet holes, not even a car. We left the car and we went to a medical care tent. It was a big festival, big area, a lot of people, so there was a medical care tent for the festival. We were there for roughly like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. We got some really raw and first medical aid. They put band-aids on our hands, not even painkillers. I managed to call my mom. I told her, listen, mom, crazy story. I was just in a terror attack. I got scratched by a bullet. I lied to her. I didn't want her to panic. And I'm coming home tonight and I will tell you everything. And then I hung up the phone and terrorists came to the medical care tent, so I started running from there as well. At the beginning, we ran away from there and we tried to leave with other people's cars. We tried to enter someone's car. We started driving, but all the roads were already blocked, either from bird cars that they shot RPGs or grenade on, or just drivers who wasn't lucky enough to complete the U-turn like I did. We understood that with the car we cannot go out, so we said, okay, let's jump out of the car, try to hide by foot. Then we had around an hour and a half or 2 hours of hiding in the area of the festival in the bushes. Each time you find a hiding place, you think you're good, you think you're safe. After 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20, either you see the terrorists coming, either you hear the shots getting stronger, or you just see a lot of people fleeing towards your direction and you tell yourself, whatever they're running from, I'm running from as well. After around 2 hours, my arm was in a really bad condition. The bullet broke my arm, and I don't know if any of you ever broken an arm and tried to run with it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So each time I needed to run, I would just hold my arm like that, start sprinting, don't look to the sideways, don't think about anything, just focus on sprinting and not fainting away from the pain. So I started sprinting. I ran for like 30 seconds. I got under a tree. I lifted my head up, and I saw I was alone. After like 5 minutes of being alone in the woods, I started hearing Arabic. Really loud, really clear, really strong. I would say they were like 5, maybe 10 meters from me. Now, most of the time in the territory, I was pretty optimistic, but at that point I understood that maybe my chances of going out aren't as high as I thought. I had my cell phone with me. I wrote goodbye to all my friends. I wrote a note to my family. And I almost lost hope, but I didn't. The entire time I was also speaking with my dad. My dad was an officer in the IDF, and he told me, listen, Tomer, they will come to rescue you eventually. And when they will come, I know the protocols. They will look for big groups of Israelis. You cannot stay alone in the woods. I told him, listen, Dad, I'm surrounded by terrorists. I can barely move. I'm bleeding. I'm not going anywhere. They don't see me here right now. I'm staying. And he told me, Tomer, the second opportunity comes, you must find more Israelis. After about an hour in the woods, I heard from very far away. I stopped hearing Arabic, and I heard from very far away voices in Hebrew. I heard the same voice over and over again. And I said, okay, I'm making a run for it. Once again, I lifted my arm and started running. The woods were lined up like that. And I started sprinting from one tree to another, sprinting, hiding, sprinting, hiding, sprinting, hiding. After around 400 meters of running, which felt like 400 kilometers, I reached an abandoned tank that had around 30 or 40 civilians, 2 or 3 police officers, and 2 or 3 army men. I reached the tank and I saw Yoav, my friend. I wouldn't say alive and well, but definitely alive. Automatically, I became a bit calmer. I saw that it was okay. I was hiding with the people in the tank for another hour. After an hour, the first evacuation car came. They put Yoav on the evacuation car. I saw Yoav get on the evacuation car. I texted his mom, your son got evacuated, he's going to live. What I didn't know at the time is that Yoav's evacuation car was taken into Re'im, which is a kibbutz in the Otef, next to the area of the festival. Re'im was also occupied by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. Yoav's car entered Re'im. They shot him again. He did manage to survive, hide for other 2 hours, and eventually rescued from Re'im. Around 15 minutes after Yoav was evacuated, 3 other evacuation cars came and just stood there, waiting like 10 minutes, doing nothing, waiting for the terrorists to shoot at them. At a certain point, I got mad. I said, okay, I'm tired of this. I want to go home. Lift my setup, went to the car driver, opened the car. Hello, sir. Hope you have a nice day. How are you? You're taking me to hospital right now. And we gathered up, a few injured people, got on the evacuation car, drove to a hospital, and after 8 hours in the field, I reached the hospital. Now, basically, this is my October 7th story. Before I get off, there's another short story that I would like to tell you. It's actually a family story of mine. It goes to my family genes. Everyone knows it. And it's the story of my great-grandfather. His name was Jacob. Jacob lived in Poland in the 1940s, which wasn't the best time to be Jewish in Poland. And one day, him and his entire family was taken on a train. Midway through the train, they understood that this train is not going anywhere good. The brothers spoke between themselves and they said, okay, let's jump off the train. Jacob, you're the youngest, you're going to jump first. They made a hole in the window of the train and Jacob jumped. What they didn't know is that on the top of the train, there were 2 Nazi officers. They saw Jacob and they shot him. Jacob's family thought he died and they stayed on the train. But Jacob didn't die. He got shot, 3 bullets, by the way, so it's a family thing. And he managed to escape. He was hiding in the woods for hours, but he survived. He got his strength back, he healed, and he went to search for his family, but there was no one left to find. He managed to go to Auschwitz and rescue his wife, and together they moved to Israel. And they moved to Israel, and they worked all their life to build an amazing country. They didn't move to Israel because they didn't like the weather in Poland or because they liked the food in Tel Aviv. By the way, the food in Tel Aviv is amazing. But that's not wonderful weather, but that's not the reason they moved to Israel. They moved to Israel with one very specific cause in their mind. What happened to Jacob will never happen again. Not to Jacob, not to someone in Jacob's family, no one, ever again, no matter where they are. And 8 years after that, on the Jewish land, on our soil, his great-grandson, 3 bullets, hiding in the woods for hours, fighting for my life. And I think it comes to tell you just a little bit about what happened on October 7th and what it means being Jewish in this world still. But even though it feels like nothing has changed, a lot has changed now. We have our own country, we are strong, we are united. And even though it's tough, I'm sure today, more than ever, 1 year after what happened to me, that we are winning this. Am Yisrael Chai, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much.
תודה לך, תודה לך.